Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1684, written by Dylan Roy. Faces met and secrets kept. This is an update from a past Mystery Town story. I was in Walmart today, and I ran into the young lady who I spoke to at the non-existent restaurant in a non-existent town. I passed her in an aisle, and we locked eyes. She had a vague recognition, while I simply froze. She continued on her way, but once I snapped out of my daze, I made it a point to be in almost every aisle she went down. It sounds kinda creepy and stalkerish, I know. Finally, after locking eyes with her for the third time, she asked, "Where do I know you from?" I told her I didn't know, but she looked familiar too, and asked if we went to school together. She informed me that she went to the neighboring high school, graduated 5 years after me, and grew up in Minneapolis. We didn't have any mutual friends, didn't ever attend the same barn parties, nor did we know each other's spouses. She pressed on, saying something along the lines of, "You're just too familiar. I now feel like we've met before." I couldn't hold it back, and I blurted out the story. Everything from Minneapolis being a full-fledged town, to the restaurant, to her working the counter, and her bewilderment at my questions. She gave me an awkward laugh and said, "No, that's not it," and hurried away. I think I freaked her out, which is understandable when talking about towns that don't exist. But she knew there was some connection, but didn't know what it was. Just a little while ago, she added me as a friend on Facebook, but hasn't tried to contact me. I'm not going to press the issue, but if she ends up asking questions, I guess I'll answer them. After scrolling through my pictures, I found one I took the day of the incident. No, unfortunately not of the town, but I realized I had on the exact same clothes yesterday as I did when the incident happened. I had on overalls, likely not the same pair, but it's what I wear on my days off. The same old ball cap, again my day off around the house cap, and the same orange Carolina push rods t-shirt. I don't know if this really has any meaning, as I wear these clothes fairly regularly. But it's odd that I had on the same t-shirt during both encounters. Case notes of file 1684, Faces Met and Secrets Kept. For those wondering about the original story, it's in the link in the description. But basically this person was traveling and encountered a town that along the path shouldn't be there. Kind of old and ancient, but still had modern cars as well. It's kind of strange, but I quite enjoyed the story, so go check it out. But now coming to this point where you're interacting with someone that was in that town that didn't exist in the real world, your normal world. Was a town from a different universe? But was this girl also temporarily trapped or phased into it just as you were? So maybe a couple players were there, real people of this universe, and they were just interacting in this town that doesn't exist in this universe but does in a different one. And you encountering her in this aisle is just a coincidence. Someone that looks like her in the other universe was in that town, and then you just encountered her doppelganger, you could say, but just her counterpart in this universe. But no matter how you stretch it, no matter how you explain it, it is a rather incredible coincidence to run into her. Was it just a coincidence? Was this person observing you instead? Hard to say. Case file number 1685, written by LaceyBloomers. A voice I knew in a stranger's hue. The backstory. I've been battling cancer since 2016. My oncology care team includes a nurse practitioner, Kay, who I've been seeing regularly since my diagnosis. I estimate that I've had probably 25 appointments with her since my diagnosis, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well. The last time I saw her was about a month ago. I was waiting for her in the exam room, and when she walked in, she had a completely different face and hair than all the other times I'd seen her, but her voice was the same, so I was really confused. As she conducted my exam, I felt weirdly uncomfortable and began to question my sanity. This wasn't Kay. It was like her consciousness had been uploaded into a different body. It creeped me out. The changes in her face weren't due to plastic surgery. Her skin color was different, and her facial features were different. Her hair was a different color and texture than before, and arranged in a style that didn't suit her at all. I've been trying to come up with an explanation, but I can't find one, except that maybe it was a glitch in the Matrix. This hadn't ever happened to me before, and hasn't happened to me since. I haven't seen Kay since that day. Case file 1685. A voice they knew in a stranger's hue. So I'm just incredibly saddened to hear about your cancer. It's been years and you're still fighting, so that's something else. But thinking about it, the most likely answer to this story is that quantum immortality applied. The good news about this is that your battle rages on across almost infinite copies of yourself in different universes in the grand multiverse ocean. And if that's the case, then you might have lost it in one universe, the universe you came from, maybe several, but you have almost infinite lives. So in at least one of them, you are going to be successful. And I hope it's this one. Case file number 1686, written by Sawfish1212, The Vanishing Booth and Love's Truth. I attended a college back in the Stone Age. I was 5 states away from my girlfriend, and our parents only let us call an hour each week because long-distance calls were expensive. The college was small and had one payphone. We all had to take turns using it, limited to a half hour each. The college is in a small town with one gas station and one general store, which had a payphone. I had a very low-paying side job, so I couldn't afford gas to drive further out for our 2 calls a week. Back then, every landline could ask for a calling card, and when you punched in the right sequence of numbers, the call was billed to your home phone. So 1 call a week went to my parents' number, 1 to her parents' number. We had an arranged time to call, and some jerk was on the phone, yakking away with no sign of wrapping up. So in desperation not to have her give up, I drove through the town looking for another payphone, and amazingly enough, found a phone booth outside a defunct restaurant. I was late for our call as I pounded the numbers into the phone, but she picked up and we had our time together. I distinctly remember that the phone was warm, like someone had just gotten off from a long conversation and it reeked from their cigarettes. It was an enclosed booth with a folding door just like the one at the college, even red in color. I had to leave the door open because of the smell. Next week, I went back there because it was closer than the gas station, and there was no booth. No concrete pad it sat on, not even the phone pole beside it the wires ran to. Interesting details my mind picked up, staring out the glass walls while talking. Just an empty gravel parking lot and the defunct restaurant. My now wife is actually from the town next over from the college, and I just had a vivid flashback of this glitch as I drove past where it happened. Hey, would you like early access to my weekly and monthly compilations? If so, you can join the channel here on YouTube for $10 a month, the Clairvoyant tier, or on Patreon. If you join on Patreon, there'll never be any ads on the videos, and you also get access to my uncut reactions to shows I've never seen before. Currently, the early access period will be 1 week ahead. For everyone that doesn't join, that's fine, nothing will change, everything will be on the same schedule, and everything will be free as always. Also as a benefit, if you do join on YouTube, currently there's no way to enable it for members to not receive ads in general, but what I can do is, during the early access period where only members can view it, I won't enable ads. So at least that'll be a benefit I can give. There's no way to set it where members don't get ads when the video is public, unfortunately. I wish there was a way to do that, but currently there isn't. YouTube is very slow to implement new benefits and stuff. But we'll see, maybe in the future that'll be possible. So if that interests you, go and check it out, and otherwise, I'll catch you later. Take care. Case file 1686, The Vanishing Booth and Love's Truth. Not entirely sure on this one. If it was a multiverse side event or multiverse interaction, because you interacted with the phone, you called from that phone. So if the phone booth was in a different universe, and in your original one it doesn't exist, well then you would have called your girlfriend in that universe. And then the next time you had called her normally in this universe, the original one, your girlfriend would have asked, why didn't you call me the last time, last week, or last day? So there would have been clear confusion in that case. Now maybe you just didn't report it, and that did happen. If that's the case, multiverse interaction. What the catalyst is on that, I don't know. It's pretty strange, but it does happen quite frequently. I think it's just dependent on the geometry of the local overlapping multiverse segment that we're in. And in higher dimensions, it might be thousands of them, who knows. Otherwise, if it was still multiverse side, somehow when you called from this phone that wasn't in your originating universe, it connected to the girlfriend in your original universe? I don't see how that could happen. The only other thing I can think of is that a work crew came by, removed the phone booth, the concrete pad, and the phone pole next to it, and left no evidence whatsoever of this happening. But given how old the story is, it's not a period of time where phone booths would be removed frequently, if at all. So maybe that's the most plausible explanation, but nothing really fits as well as I like. Now time for the quote of the day. The future is whatever you make it. so make it a good one. Doc Brown from Back to the Future. It sure is what we make of it. There's a simple chaos and randomness of life, and that's fine. But in the long term, we define our future, more or less. So, what kind of future do you want? Are you content with a happy, simple life? Or do you want to be rich, famous? What's your poison? Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.